What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool video where we will talk about, is this the end for Liverpool Football Club? Is this the downfall of Liverpool? Will FSG sack Jurgen Klopp? Should the owners go and sell Liverpool Football Club? Many Liverpool fans want the owners out, and I'm included in that camp because this is the result of a steady decline of Liverpool, and that is because of a lack of investment. In the past 3 or 4 years, Liverpool signed like 2 proper midfielders, and we have one of the oldest squads in the Premier League. If you calculate the average age of Liverpool's squad, it's almost 28 years, and that puts Liverpool 18th. So in the bottom 3 when it comes to the oldest squads in the Premier League. And for example, when Liverpool won the Premier League title in the 2020 season, Liverpool had like the 11th or 12th oldest squad, so we were in the prime of our careers. But to not freshen up the team and to let the core players age is a criminal, and it's solely to blame on the owners, FSG. And also, Jurgen Klopp conceded the title race. He said, Liverpool, we are not in the title race. It's naive to sit here and think that we are nearly in the title race. We have problems at the moment, and of course Arsenal are the team in form, the leader of the table, but we had massive problems today. I think even in a really bad situation for us, with early changes, things like this, there are real problems, then that is the truth for us. And also what is compounding, I rewatched the highlights of the game and also watched a lot of the analysis this morning. I like to prepare these videos a lot, especially when Liverpool are in such a precarious position. Henderson was one of the big problems for Liverpool, and I don't understand still why didn't Fabinho start ahead of Henderson, even though Fabinho is not in the greatest form. But Henderson was running with Odegaard in the first minute before Arsenal scored their opener, and then he just leaves him. He runs away from him into an area where there is no Arsenal player, there is no danger. Henderson was supposed to be a defensive midfielder, and yet he's not marking Odegaard. If Henderson sits tight to Odegaard, he doesn't get the ball, and then the first goal doesn't happen. Also, Jurgen Klopp didn't understand why Liverpool players so many of them went forward in the 45 plus 5th minute. So it was the 5th minute of stoppage time in the first half, where Liverpool actually played some nice football after the early Arsenal goal. Liverpool equalized through a brilliant Darwin Núñez goal. At the halftime, it would have been fine if we go in 1-1. We can regroup and attack the second half. But instead, Liverpool threw everybody forward for a free kick that wasn't a real goal-scoring opportunity. And we were caught short at the back. And Jurgen Klopp said maybe he should have shouted at the players not to go forward too much. I mean, we had like Van Dijk, Matip, Joe Gomez or Trent, I'm not sure, all going forward for the free kick, which didn't really make sense to me. And we basically had 3 defenders back on 4 Arsenal attackers, but also Trent Alexander-Arnold goes across with Henderson to mark that one Arsenal player, and Trent even overcommits, and it was a farcical situation that ended up in 4 Arsenal players in the box, and there was only Tsimikas in the middle with 3 Arsenal players and Matip next to Odegaard. But that was just horrendous defending. Second half, it was a lot worse. Liverpool looked like a team who are aging. Liverpool looked like a team of old players trying to keep up with young players, and that was a major worry, a major problem. Jurgen Klopp said, yes, I have deeper concerns, we are in a tough moment, we want to get through this together, that's what we are working on, but we have Man City next in the Premier League, so it will get worse before it gets better. And I agree, Liverpool are not even in the title race, nowhere near. So we need to be focusing on working out what makes our defense so bad. Why do all the teams create so many chances against us? And I'm really happy that Konate is back, because I think Matip also had a really bad game against Arsenal. Van Dijk, it looks like he's past his prime. He looks like he lost a yard of pace. Henderson should be nowhere near the starting 11. I keep banging this drum every weak, yet he keeps starting games. Jurgen Klopp said, and he looked absolutely dejected after the final whistle. He looked so sad, so down, and I feel for the man because this is not what Jurgen Klopp deserves. Jurgen Klopp deserves proper investment in the Liverpool squad. A proper midfielder should have been signed in the summer, not Arthur, who is now having surgery and he could be out for 3 or 4 months. He's an injury-prone player and he's not even a Liverpool standard player to walk into our starting 11. We needed a midfielder who is better than Henderson, who is better than James Milner, who is almost as good as Fabinho and Thiago. That's the standard of midfielder. But don't tell me there is not one midfielder in the Premier League or in Europe who is better than Jordan Henderson. Liverpool should have signed somebody like that. And you can't field a starting 11 with a bunch of players who are 30 years old or older. And yes, none of those players are past it. They are not like they shouldn't retire immediately. Nothing like that. But when you have like 6 players who are 30 years old or older, that's too much in the same team. You can have 3 or 4 or 5 if you have younger guys around. Luis Diaz's energy is brilliant, but he got injured, so in the second half we didn't have that, and Liverpool lost a lot of their intensity, a lot of their high pressing. I mean, Thiago, Fabinho, Henderson, Matip, Virgil van Dijk, Alisson, Bobby Firmino. That's like 7 players that I listed who are near 30 or over 30 years old. And I still think we haven't replaced Jorginho Wijnaldum. Liverpool's defense was so good for years because we had 2 brilliant centre-backs at the top of their game, not 2 centre-backs who are not at the top of their game like right now. And also we had 3 very hard-working midfielders who could defend very, very well. So it was very hard to create chances against Liverpool. Now it's easy because our 3 midfielders are not as hardworking as before. We don't have as good a defensive midfielder, Thiago is not as good defensively as Wijnaldum. And also Henderson's legs has gone, and also his sense of awareness, his sense of his defensive duties is not there anymore, so he's a liability. And also sometimes we play Harvey Elliott and he's not a defensive midfielder. So our midfield is not as good defensively as it was before, and our 2 centre-backs are not as good defensively as they were before, and they are also slower. And also Trent Alexander-Arnold is out of form, Robertson was out of form before he got injured. And I think FSG made a massive howler not investing in the Liverpool squad in the past 2 or 3 years. We should have invested heavily when we were on top, when we were in a position of strength. That's when you want to bring in world-class talent, either a world-class player who can walk into the starting 11 or brilliant, huge talents, because that's when your club is the most attractive. That's when you are in a position where it's the easiest to strengthen, to sign young, promising, talented players who also have a bit of experience. Don't tell me there is only Jude Bellingham and nobody else that can improve this Liverpool midfield, because Jordan Henderson is absolutely shocking. Half of the Premier League teams have midfielders who are better right now than Jordan Henderson, maybe even more. And Virgil van Dijk also was very, very sad after the game. He said the only thing we can do is to try to win the next game ahead of us. We know in the league it is going to be a quite tough one to be involved in the title race, but first we have to recover, we have to look and analyze today's game and what we can do better, because there will be plenty of moments that we can all do better. We have to focus on the Champions League because we have a big job there as well, and then we will focus on the league again. The games come thick and fast, we just have to be ready. I think the Champions League is now massively important. Liverpool have to go deep in that competition, but we have to fix the defense, because Liverpool in the past 12 games, we had kept just 2 clean sheets, and we also conceded first in 10 of those 12 games, which is unacceptable for a Liverpool standard team. And also we conceded 16 goals, and that's just to put it into contrast. The 12 games before those 12 games, we only conceded 3 goals instead of 16. That's remarkably different. And we also conceded only twice in those 12 games, and we kept 10 clean sheets in those 12 games. How can a team go In a 12-game period, conceding 3 goals and 10 clean sheets to conceding 16 goals and only 2 clean sheets. That is an absolute fall of the highest magnitude. It's really baffling how Liverpool have fallen so far away defensively. And there are many factors contributing to this Liverpool's downfall. Of course, missing out on the Champions League, losing the Champions League final to a brilliant Courtois performance when Liverpool were the better team, yet they still lost the Champions League final. Missing out on the Premier League by the smallest of margins. Man City were 2-0 down and they still won. That must have been mentally really hurting the players. But also, FSG not investing the squad is a massive factor. Mane leaving is also a massive factor. He was a huge player in this Liverpool team. Salah getting a big pay rise and maybe dropping 5-10% of his performances. Players maybe trying to avoid injuries before the World Cup. Van Dijk looks like a player who is afraid of getting injured a little bit in some of his performances. Maybe players feel fatigue of playing in the same exhausting system that Jurgen Klopp deploys for 4 or 5 years. And also we don't have many players sitting on the bench waiting to take the place of the starting 11 players. There are just too many issues at Liverpool at the moment this season, and I think that Liverpool have a massive job now to even finish in the top 4, because Man United look like a team who can go on a run. Chelsea look resurgent. Tottenham look really solid. Arsenal and Man City are absolutely flying. So actually all the other top teams at the moment look like they are in better shape than Liverpool. But things can change quickly in football, and who knows, with a positive result against Man City, hopefully Liverpool can go on a run themselves. But we need to find the form very quick, otherwise the gap will be too big. I already think that we pretty much have 0 chance to catch Man City. We have 1 or 2% chance of catching Arsenal. They need to lose a lot of games between now and the end of the season to catch Arsenal. They only lost 1 game in 9, and that was to Man United away. But also Liverpool away not winning in 4 games, that is unheard of in the past 3 or 4 years. But there are some positive performances, like Darwin Núñez. He was really good against Arsenal, and I think we can build on that. But I really hope that Luis Diaz and Trent Alexander-Arnold are not out for months, because the backup players like Joe Gomez, of course, going forward he will not offer as much as Trent, but maybe defensively we will be a little bit better with Joe Gomez in the side, but he also doesn't have that pace anymore because of so many injuries. Luis Diaz, if he's out for long, then Liverpool will pretty much have to play Firmino, Jota, Salah as the front 3, and maybe Darwin Núñez will sit on the bench, or maybe we will play Núñez up front, Jota on the left, Firmino in behind Núñez, and Salah on the right. But then we can't rotate. We pretty much have no one as a substitute. Fabio Carvalho is still a young player. He won't score a lot of goals because he's still developing. And what is absolutely shocking is that after 8 games, Liverpool lost, I think, as many games as we lost in the whole of last season. And we already conceded half as many goals as in the entirety of last season. And that is unacceptable. And I think for the first time against Man City, I feel that we could get absolutely hammered if we don't turn up defensively. Man City will run us ragged, Haaland will have a field day, but Liverpool will hopefully cause Man City problems, because going forward we are actually pretty decent this season. We are scoring a lot of goals, but the problem is the defense and the midfield not being able to defend. We needed a workhorse midfielder, somebody like Wijnaldum, somebody like Tchouaméni, who could really have the legs to run all day long in midfield, because Henderson doesn't have the legs anymore. Fabinho's form is not good there. Thiago, also 31, you can't expect Thiago to hustle and bustle and defend all game throughout the 90 minutes. And yeah, we don't really have anybody else. Keita is injured, Ox is injured, Curtis Jones still injured. So the top 4 at the moment looks miles away. And FSG, the owners, need to start feeling the heat. They really need to realize that this is not acceptable, and Liverpool fans should organize protests, and the Liverpool fans should organize banners to take to the Liverpool Man City game, because we have to let the owners know they can't let this continue. They can't let Jurgen Klopp just take all the blame, all the heat, and not invest in the Liverpool squad. That's my honest opinion, but let me know what is yours. And imagine if Liverpool don't get top 4, or even we finish in 6th place, then signing players will be a real problem again. When we were on top of the world, when we were champions, when we were kings of Europe, when we won the Champions League, when we won the Premier League, we didn't strengthen, we didn't sign big players. Check the transfer records. Liverpool's net spend is like 20 million throughout the Jurgen Klopp era. That's not good enough. We only had a net spend of 4 million this summer that just passed. That's not good enough. You can't keep up with these mega rich clubs in the Premier League without proper investment. I keep going back on this, and also this is the perfect storm for the opponents of Liverpool, because FSG's lack of investment has caught up with the Liverpool squad. Jurgen Klopp's loyalty to older players like James Milner, Jordan Henderson, a lack of new tactics, players being complacent, players being out of form. And I think at this point nobody is in any denial that big changes are needed in the Liverpool squad. Let me know what would you change if you were in charge of Liverpool FC in the comments below, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I love to talk to you guys about Liverpool FC, and this was a good way for me to vent to you guys. It was actually pretty therapeutic, if you like, if you know what I mean. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a nice day. See you later. Good night.